Have you ever watched a crime documentary? I've watched a few of my parents, and I always found them intriguing. The way a case can unfold, and the little things like witness statements can open the case wide open, maybe even leading to the arrest of the criminal. I'll make up an example of what one of these cases might look like. Let's say a house was broken into while the family was on holidays. They stole valuable belongings and a camera which had family photos. Photos they worried they may never get back. They were obviously distraught. They just had this great vacation where they got to spend quality time together as a family. And they come home to find it ransacked. They called the police, who interviewed the neighbours, and they got some good intel from them, but nothing conclusive. The investigation had hit a standstill. The police had no leads, and the family had started losing hope. The family's neighbour across the road invited the family over for dinner to try and lift their spirits. During the dinner, he was asked if he saw anything suspicious. He said, "Nothing. I'm sorry. There was this guy who jogged past your house and seemed to slow down a bit, but I don't see how that would help. Someone's probably already told you guys about that." The family looked in disbelief, and immediately they pushed him out the door and into the car. They were heading to the police station. He was confused. He had no idea what was happening. When they got there, he was interviewed by an officer, and the officer's eyes widened when he told him what he had told the family. Without another word, the officer ran to the lead detective, and he had a similar reaction. The detective approached the family and told them, "We know who he is, and we'll head out now to arrest him." The next day, the family invites the neighbour over, and they were incredibly grateful. Apparently, the jogger was what they were missing. Somehow it made all the other pieces of evidence just fit together. How did a jogger help solve the case? "It's such a little thing. I'm surprised I'm the only one who saw it," he said in disbelief. What he thought was a minor detail that wouldn't have much worth in the case became the reason it was solved. I guess the police didn't think it was such a minor detail after all. The witness who helped solve the case had no idea what sort of importance his testimony had. All he saw was a guy who jogged past the house, which sounds unimportant. Seems like it wouldn't help the case much. But it lined up with the other evidence, which is exactly what was needed. He felt like his story wasn't important, and that what he said wouldn't make a difference. But he was wrong. His testimony was a piece of the puzzle that was missing. Its contribution made the picture so much clearer. Yet he thought it would be obsolete. I feel like we undervalue what we have to say a lot as well. We might put it aside because we think it won't have much use. That you'll just say it and people will just shrug it off and forget you said anything. Or maybe you're scared they might not react well. We could tend to get into our own heads a lot. We question the importance of what we have to say, and we double guess it to the point where we don't even want to say it anymore. But who are we to decide whether what we say is important or not? That decision is God's and God's alone. In Acts 18, Paul went to Corinth to preach to the Jews that Jesus was the Messiah, to be a missionary and spread the word of Jesus, as he strongly felt it was his responsibility. He had something so powerful to say, but when he started preaching, he was met with opposition. The Jews didn't want any of what he was telling them. They became abusive towards him, to the point where he had lost all hope, and declared to them, "Your blood be on your own heads. I am innocent of it. From now on, I will go to the Gentiles." Paul gave up on the Jews. He told them that they were on a path of ruin and self-destruction by not accepting Jesus, and that it was no fault of his. He tried. So he decided to pack his bags and go elsewhere. He originally had a strong feeling of responsibility towards preaching to the Jews, but he lost that feeling when the Jews opposed him, and he decided the Gentiles would be more likely to listen to what he has to say. Though that was not the plan God had for him. God spoke to Paul and told him, "Do not be afraid. Keep on speaking. Do not be silent, for I am with you, and no one
is going to attack and harm you, because I have many people in this city. God wanted Paul to stay in Corinth because he knew that what Paul had to say was important and that the Jews needed to hear it. God didn't just tell Paul to keep on speaking, to not be silent. That message was also meant for all of us. God has worked in our lives and is still working. He's helped us through some of the lowest points in our lives and spoken to us in many different ways. And the times God has worked in our lives, that is our story. That is the story that God gave us, and the story He doesn't want us to keep silent. I used to feel my story was insignificant and not worth telling. I still do sometimes. And I know so many others who have felt the same way. But why would God give us something weak and insignificant? Why would He give us something that serves of no purpose? He wouldn't. Someone once told me there is always at least one person who needs to hear your story. Someone who your story could inspire. He gave us all our own unique and individual stories because they are powerful. They will have an impact. We can't know what impact it will have, but God wouldn't give us a story if He didn't know that someone needed to hear it. God also told Paul, "For I am with you, and no one is going to attack and harm you, because I have many people in this city." He didn't just send Paul back to be abused. He sent him back with reassurance that he would be safe. That's because he knew it wouldn't be easy for Paul to go back to Corinth and preach again, especially after the declaration he made when he left. But he wanted Paul to know he wasn't alone. There would be people there to support him. God makes sure we're not alone either. While our stories are powerful, they can also be painful. It may not be easy to tell them because it may still cause you pain. Or maybe it's not easy to tell someone because they're special to you and you're worried your story may change that. But it is still your story. And not only is God with you to tell that story, you've got people to support you through that story. Whether it be your family, friends, or church family, there is somebody there for you. You are not alone, for God is with you.